Hello and welcome to my Michael Bay review. Today I will be applying auteur theory to Michael Bay and a couple of his films just to show how auteur theory works, what it is and how it can be used on Michael Bay. Auteur theory is similarities between a director's films, whether that's actors, stories or things Michael Bay might do is slow motion or explosions he's known for. The films I'll be talking about with Michael Bay are Pain and Gain, Pearl Harbor, Armageddon and the Transformers franchise. Michael Bay's first feature-length film was Bad Boys in 1995, featuring Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. And since Bad Boys, Michael Bay has become one of the most known and successful movie directors there is today, directing films known like The Rock, The Island, the Transformers franchise, Pain and Gain, Armageddon, Pearl Harbor, and even he's created his own production company which create a lot of horror films and other action films called Platinum Dunes. I believe that Michael Bay in the last 10 years has not lost $1 in filming. Bay's most recent Transformers film was even able to gross over $1 billion. Michael Bay is known for a lot of things, which can include action sequences. He portrays the US military extremely well, that they even let him use actual military vehicles and weapons and locations. I've noticed that a lot of Michael Bay's films contain a speech from a president or someone from high power. Michael Bay is most known for his slow motion, loud bass sound effects to enhance scenes, explosions, light flashes onto the camera. His films are always very patriotic and contain a lot of product placement. Michael Bay rarely uses static shots. He'll always have the camera moving a tiny bit at the least. Bay's themes are so recognisable that a lot of parodies and remakes have been made of his style on YouTube. In 2016, Michael Bay released a new showreel, which included a lot of his best shots and scenes from his films and a trailer for his next film coming called 13 Hours. This showreel is an excellent example of showing Michael Bay's themes like slow motion, explosions, certain shots. Michael Bay's target audience is extremely wide and extremely popular. His films are described as teenage boys and young adults, but his films, like the Transformers series, they're 12As, so they appeal to the children, the young males, the 12-year-olds to 15 who enjoy seeing a cool robot. But then it can also appeal to the 80s TV animation show fans who would be maybe older now, like 30, 40 years old, and they bring their families along. He's very good at getting an audience together. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to link things that I've researched into when I think of Michael Bay and I think of these 4 films, or the franchise as well, things that I can always remember in all of them. So for example, slow motion I can picture in Pain and Gain, in the opening scene where Mark Wahlberg's running and then the police come out, or the one I prefer is when he gets tasered in the face. Transformers in the action sequences, like more obviously the robots fighting. In Transformers 2, when Optimus Prime rips apart one of the Decepticons' heads. I always remember that one. That was a good one. Explosions, they're everywhere. In the first Transformers film, in the army base, when the first Decepticon comes into and hacks the army, and he just destroys the whole army base. In Pearl Harbor, in the Pearl Harbor moment where it gets destroyed, there's bombs flying off everywhere, and the aeroplanes are flying over and destroying ships and aeroplanes. So there's a lot of explosions in that. 2 scenes that I always remember. showing shots is in Pain and Gain, where The Rock, so it's a low angle and it shows him more powerful because it's low angle and it circles him when he looks up. And then this is also used in a lot of other films, like it's in Bad Boys when they're aiming the gun. Another common thing which can happen in Michael Bay's films are characters. More the lead characters, where they're normally either 2, maybe 3 lead characters, and they not constantly, but they argue a lot during the film. For example, in Armageddon, where Ben Affleck and Bruce Willis, they constantly at each other, or Pain and Gain, they're constantly discussing something, whether it's argument or not. So Michael Bay has been a producer for a long time now. His first film he produced was Armageddon, and he produces a lot of the films he directs with his company Platinum Dunes, who are also known for making the Ouija franchise, The Purge, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and then some remakes like Friday the 13th and Texas Chainsaw Massacre.